Welcome and thank you for watching this virtual talk. I'm Matt Artz, an anthropologist, designer, and technologist specializing in AI product development. Today I'm going to present some work from an early paper that Barry Dornfeld of CFAR and I are working on, but I'm also going to be building on some research I did with Yahya Ren. And so to begin, let me go back a year and a few months. In January 2023, my inbox was suddenly flooded with emails from colleagues and clients expressing a mix of excitement and fear about ChatGPT. Faculty were concerned about academic integrity and the future of learning in an era where information can easily be generated. My private sector clients wondered what they needed to do to capitalize on the opportunity. This flood of emails served as an aha moment for me, but initially I found it perplexing. While generative AI, or Gen AI as it's commonly known, was largely a new phenomenon. But AI was not. We've been using AI-enabled products daily for years in consequential ways, such as with search engines, navigation in our cars, or while walking, and recommender systems that shape the content we discover. So, why was there such a frenzy over the latest developments, and what did it mean for organizations and society? Arguably, the impact on society is going to be fairly revolutionary, not just because these tools generate content, be it images or photos, but more so because they popularize a new user interface paradigm for interacting with software through natural language. And this is a profound shift that democratizes access to specialized capabilities, empowering users to control complex software in unprecedented ways, whether to be a designer, a statistician, a semiotician. There are many ways in which these tools are going to impact society broadly, but also us as anthropologists. And so for me, this is a world-changing development because it lowers this bar for execution. No longer does someone need all of the skills required to carry out those type of tasks. They only need to have the creativity to ask the right questions and to generate a prompt. Gen AI, therefore, represents a transition from AI as a behind-the-scenes technology to a front-and-center collaborator, really signaling an emerging revolution that I think will impact all organizations. And so over the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to unpack that and talk about the implications of AI for organizations through the research that I have been conducting with a partner of mine and through the lens of readiness. And so specifically, some of the anthropological research we've been doing in this space, where we've been conducting mixed methods research with entrepreneurs and others in the organizational space. And this research combines really like a digital anthropological approach, making use of computational techniques, as well as our traditional ethnographic practices, such as interviews and observations, to really look at what is the impact, again, on AI in organizations. It started about a year ago, and it started by analyzing a data set of 50,000 tweets from Twitter, now X, that were GPT related. And those occurred from January 2023 through March 2023. And we were using those to really get a sense of the public discourse that was happening around AI in this sort of early boom phase. And when conducting a temporal and sentiment analysis, we basically showed that the tweets were increasing in frequency through the months from January through March. But interestingly, the sentiment peaked and then trailed back off. So, peaking in late February, and then really by April, the end of March, I should say, really sort of trailing back off to more or less where it started. And so this was interesting to us because it suggested that though there was this media hype and there was this initial enthusiasm, that cooled a bit. And so building on that, we wanted to dive a little bit deeper and started by conducting semi-structured interviews with entrepreneurs from North America who were working to implement commercial AI products and, essentially integrate AI into their organizations, whether it be in tech products or as part of their work practice. And these interviews revealed a very paradoxical relationship between these entrepreneurs and AI. On one hand, the participants expressed great excitement about AI's transformational potential. One participant stated, It wasn't until OpenAI really released the first consumer-facing generative AI, LLM, in ChatGPT that I was just like, oh my God, like this is by far and away the most profound technology tool I ever used. However, this optimism was often tempered by concerns about job displacement, malicious uses of AI, and existential risks. Another participant acknowledged, I absolutely, unequivocally, undeniably could see how people could use it for malicious and/or negative intent, and in fact, I'm fairly certain that this is the case. And so this dichotomy reflects the cognitive dissonance that entrepreneurs experience when engaging with AI, often oscillating between embracing its potential and fearing its disruptive impacts. And these findings help to call attention to this complex interplay, really, of optimism and apprehension that also characterizes organizations more broadly. The interviews also highlighted the critical role of AI literacy and understanding in the AI entrepreneurship journey. Participants stressed the need to understand AI's capabilities and limitations, as well as the importance of self-education to really move beyond the hype and make sense of AI in a deeper way. One entrepreneur shared, just kind of knowing how they're built and having a good idea of what's real and what's not is very helpful. I kind of know when ideas are off base or if it doesn't jive with what I've read in the past. But this emphasis on AI literacy and understanding is crucial not just for entrepreneurs, but for all organizational stakeholders navigating the AI landscape. To complement the interviews, my partner in this research, Yaya Ren, conducted participant observation with the Silicon Valley Gen AI meetup group of AI creators. The observations revealed the use of AI vernaculars or metaphors and language specific to the AI community, which serve as a means to bridge different components of AI epistemologies and make sense of the emerging world of AI. However, the observations also highlighted the persistent challenges of explainability and alignment that AI creators grapple with in their work, ensuring AI systems can provide clear explanations for their decisions and align with human values and intentions. These challenges have significant implications for organizations as they integrate AI into the decision-making process and navigate issues of transparency, accountability, and trust. Collectively, the data demonstrates that a complex interplay of optimism, apprehension, and cognitive dissonance characterizes the relationship between AI and entrepreneurship. The early, predominantly positive public discourse on Twitter contrasts sharply with these more nuanced and conflicting perspectives from the interviews and observations. This dichotomy is not unique to entrepreneurship, but again reflects the broader tensions and uncertainties organizations face as they grapple with the transformational potential and disruptive impacts of AI. And this dichotomy underscores the need for a more holistic and interdisciplinary approach to understanding the implications of AI for organizations. Bridging the gap between the technical expertise of AI creators and the real-world experiences of business professionals is crucial for developing AI that is human-centered, trustworthy, safe, and explainable. Some key considerations that organizations will need to navigate include AI literacy and understanding, collaboration and knowledge sharing, human-AI interaction and agency, ethical considerations, and organizational readiness. AI literacy and understanding is concerned with the fact that organizations must develop a deep understanding of AI's capabilities, limitations, and implications. This will require continuous learning, self-education, and knowledge sharing to effectively leverage AI while avoiding pitfalls. With collaboration and knowledge sharing, we need to make sure that greater collaboration between AI and creators, and really all organizational stakeholders, and I should also say the public, is really essential to this process for developing a shared understanding of the implications and ensuring its responsible deployment. With human AI interaction and agency, we need to remember that as AI becomes more integrated into business practices, questions of power, autonomy, and control in these relationships will become increasingly important to make sense of. Ethical considerations are concerned with the adoption of AI and all of the issues that arise, whether it be bias, data privacy, job displacement, and any of the other unintended consequences that we may not even be able to imagine today. But organizations are going to have to prioritize some sort of ethical understanding and develop frameworks for responsible AI innovation, if not to cause harm. Organizational readiness involves realizing the benefits of AI, but not just from a technical literacy perspective, but really with a deeper understanding of the cultural factors that shape AI adoption. Ultimately, AI is about enabling humans and thus enabling the organization. And so, while existing models of organizational readiness for AI, or I should say maybe are emerging, they often focus on factors like technology, governance, and strategy. Yet, they frequently lack a nuanced understanding of the complex cultural dynamics at work. Organizational culture does play a pervasive role, though, in shaping assumptions, values, mindsets, and behavioral patterns around AI. And so we need to make sure that we get that back into the equation. And this is where I think anthropology can contribute its more holistic understanding. We can help to make sense of how culture influences and is influenced by AI across multiple dimensions of the organization, including exploring how AI reshapes organizational structures, governance models, policies, how it disrupts team dynamics and collaboration patterns, how it impacts individuals, relationships, and ultimately meaning-making in the workplace. Moreover, anthropology can help decode the implicit cultural models that shape AI readiness, making them explicit for reflection and adaptation. So ultimately, it can surface the subcultures, power dynamics, and symbolic behaviors that enable or inhibit AI readiness. It can shed light on the lived experiences and cultural logics that guide how people make sense of and engage with AI in their daily work. Readiness in this sense is not a one-time linear process, but a continual negotiation across interconnected cultural layers. As AI evolves, it emerges through the ongoing processes of negotiating human-AI belonging, redefining team norms, reassessing human value, and cultivating collective stewardship as organizations integrate automated decision-making systems throughout many aspects of our work practice. And so, considering what we can contribute, I argue that ultimately it is our role as anthropologists to actively play a part in this AI revolution and to ensure that these powerful systems augment and enrich human potential rather than diminish it. We must never lose sight of the centrality of the lived experience within this new paradigm. And though the path ahead is uncertain, it is very rich with opportunities and challenges that our anthropologists are well suited for. And so I invite you to join me and rise to the challenge of helping to shape the future of AI. Thank you.